In an unprecedented spectacle that has left the nation on edge, the Senate floor transformed into a battleground as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ted Cruz clashed in a fiery confrontation that no one saw coming. Sparks flew and tempers flared as these political titans collided, unleashing a torrent of accusations and counterattacks that shattered the veneer of decorum typically associated with the Senate. The air was thick with tension, and the stakes couldn't have been higher as the world watched this explosive showdown unfold. The confrontation began with a seemingly innocuous debate over politics, but it quickly escalated into a no-holds-barred exchange that left onlookers stunned. AOC, known for her passionate rhetoric and unyielding stance, launched a blistering criticism of Cruz's political maneuvers, accusing him of being nothing more than a showboat who prioritizes spectacle over substance. Her words cut through the chamber like a knife, leaving a palpable silence in their wake. But Cruz, never one to back down from a fight, retaliated with equal fervor. His scathing retort, branding AOC as clueless and out of touch with the realities of governance, ignited a political firestorm that reverberated far beyond the Senate walls. The exchange was raw, unfiltered, and brutally honest, a rare glimpse into the unvarnished reality of political rivalry at its most intense. As the dust settled, the fallout from this explosive encounter began to take shape. Allegiances within the Senate shifted, with some members rallying behind AOC's bold stance, while others sided with Cruz's defiant rebuttal. The divide was stark, and the implications were profound, raising questions about the future direction of American politics and the power dynamics at play. Meanwhile, the media seized upon the drama, turning the Senate hearing into a national spectacle. Outrageous headlines and sensationalist coverage dominated the airwaves, fueling public outcry and demanding accountability from those involved. Citizens across the country were galvanized, their voices rising in a chorus of demands for transparency and change. The ripple effects of this confrontation extended beyond national borders, sparking global controversy and leaving world leaders scrambling to respond. The AOC-Cruz clash became a symbol of the broader political tensions that define our era, a stark reminder of the challenges and conflicts that lie ahead. In the aftermath of this Senate showdown, the consequences are still unfolding. The political landscape has been irrevocably altered, and the future remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: this explosive clash has set the stage for a new chapter in American politics, one that promises to be as unpredictable and tumultuous as the confrontation that started it all. Behind the closed doors of the Senate, a plan was brewing that promised to shake the foundations of American politics. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, known for her boldness and determination, had allegedly hatched a secret strategy to humiliate Ted Cruz, her political rival. The rumored tactics are so shocking that they have left Washington in a state of shock. AOC, with her knack for manipulating the political stage, is said to have devised a web of maneuvers aimed at undermining Cruz's credibility by exposing his weaknesses at the most opportune moment. Rumors point to clandestine meetings, where strategies were discussed to expose Cruz's contradictions and weaknesses. AOC, with her keen political intelligence, would have used privileged information to prepare a devastating attack, one that not only sought to destabilize Cruz, but also to redefine the balance of power in the Senate. The tactics, described by some as ruthless, included the collection of compromising data and the preparation of incendiary speeches that promised to leave Cruz speechless. The mood in the Senate was tense, with whispers of treachery and conspiracy floating in the air. Cruz's allies, aware of the gathering storm, were desperately trying to counter the impending attack. However, AOC's machinery was already in motion, and stopping it seemed an impossible task. Politics had never been so personal, and the showdown between these two titans promised to be an unprecedented spectacle. Meanwhile, the audience watched in awe as this political drama unfolded. The possibility that a figure as prominent as Ted Cruz could be humiliated on the national stage was a thought few could ignore. Tensions mounted, and the nation waited with bated breath for the outcome of this epic confrontation. Would this be the moment when AOC would consolidate her power, or would Cruz find a way to emerge victorious from this political ambush? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain: the Senate would never be the same. In an unexpected turn of events in the Senate, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez launched an accusation that left everyone speechless. "You're just a blowhard." The room fell deathly silent, as senators tried to absorb the impact of her words. The tension was palpable, and the air was charged with an electricity that is only felt at the most critical moments in politics. Ocasio-Cortez, known for her blunt, direct style, did not hold back in calling out what she perceives as a front for Ted Cruz. In a moment that will go down in the annals of American politics, AOC laid bare what she sees as a strategy of empty spectacle by Cruz, accusing him of prioritizing his public image over actual legislative work. The accusation thundered through the chamber, leaving many senators stunned and others muttering among themselves, trying to process the magnitude of the confrontation. This confrontation not only shook the foundations of the Senate, but also exposed the deep divisions that exist within the legislative body. Ocasio-Cortez's accusation was not just a personal attack, but a direct challenge to the way politics is done in Washington. In an environment where appearances often trump substance, her words were a call to action, a demand for authenticity and real commitment to the issues that affect citizens. Cruz's reaction was swift, but at that moment, the spotlight was firmly on AOC and her bold statement. Political analysts are already speculating about the fallout from this explosive moment, wondering whether it will mark a turning point in the dynamics of the Senate. Meanwhile, the public watches with a mix of awe and anticipation, aware that what is unfolding before their eyes is more than just an exchange of words. It is a battle for the soul of American politics. Ted Cruz was not silent. In an unexpected and electrifying turn, the Texas senator launched a verbal counterattack that left everyone speechless. "You are lost," Cruz exclaimed, with an intensity that resonated in every corner of the Senate. The room, which moments earlier had witnessed AOC's incendiary accusation, now found itself at the epicenter of an unprecedented political storm. Cruz, known for his razor-sharp rhetoric, did not mince his words. His response was a direct blow, designed to destabilize his opponent and reassert his position on the political stage. The tension was palpable. Senators, caught in the crossfire of this titanic showdown, watched in awe as Cruz dismantled AOC's criticisms with a mix of sarcasm and defiance. "You talk a lot, but you don't understand anything," Cruz continued, his voice laced with a mix of contempt and determination. This exchange wasn't just a clash of personalities. It was a battle for narrative control, an attempt by Cruz to regain lost ground and show that he would not be intimidated. The impact of her words was immediate. AOC, known for her ability to handle pressure, seemed momentarily taken aback. The audience of politicians, advisors, and journalists held its breath, aware that they were witnessing a moment that could redefine the power dynamics in Washington. Cruz had achieved the unthinkable, putting the charismatic congresswoman on the defensive, forcing her to rethink her strategy amid relentless scrutiny. Not only did this showdown capture the attention of the American public, it also sent shockwaves across the political spectrum. Social media erupted with commentary and analysis, as pundits debated the implications of this clash of titans. Could Cruz have found AOC's Achilles heel? Or had he simply fanned the flames of a conflict that was destined to escalate even further? What was clear was that this exchange had left an indelible mark on the political landscape. The battle between Cruz and AOC was not just a personal feud, it was a reflection of the deep divisions running through the country. And as the dust began to settle, one thing was certain. This showdown was a game-changer, and the outcome was yet to be written. In an unexpected twist that has left Washington reeling, audio has leaked revealing an uncensored conversation between Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ted Cruz. This explosive material, which the highest echelons of power would prefer to keep hidden, has come to light, unleashing a scandal of epic proportions. In the audio, AOC and Cruz are heard in a fierce exchange, where words fly like daggers, exposing the stark reality of their political tensions. The recording, which has been called the most scandalous revelation of the year, shows AOC accusing Cruz of being a phony and an opportunist, while Cruz is not far behind, calling her ignorant and out of touch with reality. The verbal sparring, which has developed in an increasingly heated tone, has left listeners speechless, revealing the true nature of the rivalry between these two political titans. The leak has caused a political earthquake, with senators and analysts divided over the implications of this exchange. Some see AOC's words as a calculated strategy to destabilize Cruz, while others believe Cruz has shown his true colors, willing to do anything to maintain his position of power. What is clear is that this audio has shaken the foundations of the Senate, exposing the internal struggles that are taking place behind the scenes. Meanwhile, the public is in a state of shock and outrage, demanding answers and accountability. The pressure on both politicians is mounting, and the question on everyone's lips is, who leaked the audio and for what purpose? Conspiracy theories have not been long in coming, and the atmosphere in Washington is palpably tense. This scandal has not only captured national attention, but has resonated internationally, with world leaders closely watching the repercussions of this confrontation. The leak has put American politics in jeopardy, and the consequences of this scandal are yet to be seen. What is certain is that this episode has marked a before and after in the careers of both politicians, and the outcome of this story promises to be as explosive as its beginning. The Senate is in a state of absolute chaos after the unprecedented confrontation between Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ted Cruz. The confrontation has left senators divided, with loyalties wavering and alliances crumbling. In the midst of this political whirlwind, the question on everyone's mind is, who is really pulling the strings? The impact of this titanic clash has been devastating. The halls of the Capitol resonate with whispers of betrayal and political maneuvering. Some senators, who once stood firm in their positions, now find themselves at a crossroads, forced to reconsider their alliances. The tension is palpable, and the air is thick with uncertainty. Meanwhile, factions within the Senate are reorganizing. Some see AOC as a bold leader who challenges the status quo, while others consider her a threat to political stability. On the other hand, Ted Cruz, with his incendiary rhetoric, has managed to consolidate a group of loyal followers who are willing to defend him at all costs. In this climate of division, rumors are rife that outside forces may be influencing the course of events. Could there be hidden interests manipulating the situation for their own benefit? Speculation is rife, and no one is safe from suspicion. The confrontation between AOC and Cruz has not only shaken the foundations of the Senate, but has also exposed the deep fissures that exist within the American political system. The question remains whether these divisions can be overcome or whether, on the contrary, they will lead to an even greater crisis. In this uncertain environment, citizens are watching closely, demanding transparency and accountability. The pressure on senators is immense, and every decision they make could have far-reaching repercussions. History is being written in real time, and the outcome is uncertain. Who will emerge victorious in this battle of titans? Only time will tell. The Senate became a media battlefield as the scandal-hungry press transformed a hearing into an unprecedented national spectacle. Cameras captured every gesture, every word, amplifying the tension between Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ted Cruz to stratospheric levels. The headlines were not long in coming, and with them, a wave of public outrage that no one could have foreseen. The media, in their insatiable quest for audiences, spared no resources to turn this confrontation into the topic of the moment. The front pages of newspapers screamed in capital letters, "Clash of Titans in the Senate," and "The Battle That Shook Washington." Each news channel offered its own version of the events, fueling the fire of controversy with analysis and opinions that divided the audience. The coverage was so intense that even the most insignificant details became the subject of scrutiny. What did Cruz's gesture of adjusting his tie mean? Why did AOC raise an eyebrow at that precise moment? Every movement was dissected, every word was repeated ad nauseum, creating a narrative that gripped the nation in a frenzy of speculation and debate. Amidst this media storm, social media became a hotbed of conflicting opinions. Hashtags like #Senate Showdown and #AOC vs Cruz trended, as citizens expressed their outrage or support with a passion that reflected the country's polarization. Memes and viral videos were quick to appear, further amplifying the impact of this confrontation on the public consciousness. The press, conscious of its power to shape public opinion, did not miss the opportunity to exploit every possible angle. Exclusive interviews, panel discussions, and incendiary editorials followed one after another, keeping the issue at the center of national attention. The audience, mesmerized by the drama, could not look away, as journalists promised more shocking revelations in the days to come. This media frenzy not only captured the public's attention, but also challenged the senators themselves, who were forced to take clear positions in a scenario where neutrality was no longer an option. Pressure from the media and public opinion became a decisive factor in the political dynamics, making it clear that the power of the press to influence the course of events is stronger than ever. Tension in the Senate reached a boiling point when the confrontation between AOC and Ted Cruz spilled over beyond the walls of the Capitol, igniting a spark of public outrage that no one saw coming. Citizens, fed up with political games and power struggles, raised their voices in a deafening clamor, demanding accountability and transparency. The streets were filled with protesters, banners in hand, clamoring for real, tangible change in the political system that seemed more interested in spectacle than in serving the people. The collective fury was not limited to social media, where incendiary hashtags began trending within hours. The squares of major cities became the epicenter of a movement clamoring for a political revolution. "Enough of the circus, we want action," echoed on every corner, as citizens organized themselves in assemblies and forums to discuss the future of a nation that seemed to be on the verge of seismic change. Political leaders, surprised by the scale of the public response, were forced to confront the reality of an electorate that was no longer willing to tolerate inaction and empty rhetoric. The pressure was mounting, and promises of reform began to emerge from all sides. But people were no longer satisfied with words. They wanted to see results, and they wanted them now. Amidst this whirlwind of emotions and demands, the question hanging in the air was unavoidable. Would this be the beginning of a new era in American politics? The answer remained to be seen, but one thing was certain. The clash between AOC and Ted Cruz had unleashed a wave of discontent that would not be easily calmed. The nation watched, expectant, as the political drama continued to unfold on a stage that could no longer ignore the voice of the people. The clash between AOC and Ted Cruz has unleashed a political firestorm that has crossed borders, shaking world leaders and generating a domino effect that no one saw coming. What began as an explosive clash in the Senate has escalated into a global phenomenon, leaving governments around the world on high alert. The intensity of the conflict has captured international attention, and the repercussions are so vast that they have left diplomats and heads of state scrambling to contain the chaos. In Europe, leaders have been forced to reassess their relations with the United States, while in Asia, emerging powers are watching warily, worried about the implications of an American political system seemingly in crisis. The confrontation has exposed fissures in traditional alliances, and nations are questioning whether they can continue to trust a country where internal divisions are so deep and visible. The impact is not limited to politics. The global economy is also feeling the tremor. Financial markets have reacted with volatility, reflecting the uncertainty surrounding the future of U.S. policies. International investors are on edge, fearful that this dispute could trigger a series of unpredictable political decisions affecting trade and economic relations worldwide. Meanwhile, media outlets around the world have turned this standoff into an unprecedented media spectacle. Incendiary images and statements from both politicians have been broadcast on a loop, fueling a seemingly endless news cycle. The narrative has captured the imagination of the global public, who watch in amazement as an internal American dispute has escalated into a conflict of international proportions. Against this backdrop, world leaders are forced to take sides, or at least strategically position themselves on a dramatically changed political chessboard. Diplomatic meetings have intensified, and private conversations between heads of state are more frequent than ever, as they try to navigate this new and tumultuous landscape. The clash between AOC and Ted Cruz has left an indelible mark on international politics, and the consequences of this standoff will continue to resonate in the corridors of global power for a long time to come. The question on everyone's mind now is, how will this conflict be resolved, and what will it mean for the future of international relations? The answer for now remains a mystery, but one thing is certain: the world is watching, and no one can predict what will happen next. The Senate floor was a battlefield, a stage for an unprecedented clash between two of the most polarizing figures in American politics. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ted Cruz, each a titan in their own right, collided in a showdown that left the nation reeling. The air was thick with tension as accusations flew like daggers, each word sharper than the last. AOC, with her fiery rhetoric, accused Cruz of being nothing more than a showboat, a claim that echoed through the halls of power and left the Senate in stunned silence. But Cruz was not one to back down. His retort was swift and cutting, branding AOC as clueless and igniting a political firestorm that threatened to consume them both. The exchange was raw, unfiltered, and scandalous, a spectacle that Washington had desperately tried to keep under wraps. Yet, the leaked audio of their confrontation was a bombshell revelation, exposing the unvarnished truth of their animosity for all to hear. As the dust settled, the fallout was immediate and profound. Senators found themselves divided, their allegiances shifting in the wake of the confrontation. The media seized upon the drama, turning a routine Senate hearing into a national spectacle, with headlines that seemed too outrageous to be true. The public, outraged and demanding accountability, saw this as a potential turning point, a catalyst for political revolution. The shockwaves of the AOC-Cruz clash reverberated far beyond American shores, sparking global controversy and leaving world leaders scrambling to respond. The international community watched with bated breath, aware that the implications of this showdown could reshape the political landscape. In the aftermath, the consequences were nothing short of shocking. The Senate showdown had laid bare the deep divisions within American politics, raising urgent questions about the future. Would this confrontation mark the beginning of a new era, or was it merely a symptom of a deeper malaise? The nation stood at a crossroads, its political future hanging in the balance, as the world watched and waited for the next explosive chapter to unfold.